Chapter 1. Inheritance. Naruto Uzumaki, a Konoha civilian, he was a failure in almost everything, but most people couldn't see that he was a genius. In fact, under the ballsack-sized brain, he was a genius. It was mainly shown in the form of pranks. The third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, saw that. But this day took a real turn in Naruto's shinobi life. "You failed the academy again, Naruto," Iruka said while Naruto looked pale. "Come on, Iruka. Cut him some slack, he's probably been working hard," Mizuki said, and Iruka said, "But still, look at the clone. Even though he made it, it looks like it has fucking food poisoning." And Mizuki couldn't say no. The clone was literally pale as fuck. Naruto sulked and went back as everyone laughed and made fun of him. After everyone had gotten their headbands, everyone went outside to their parents. Naruto was sitting in a swing. It was usually where he was whenever he was sad. "Look at that demon. Imagine if he actually passed. If he did, I would immediately resign my child from the shinobi. He should have just died. The yondaime would finally rest." Naruto always tried to figure out why. He eventually took the thought out of his mind, however, when Mizuki came and told him something that made him happy. "Naruto, there's an extra test. If you are able to do this, you can become a shinobi. All you have to do is just take the scroll in the Hokage's office," Mizuki said, and Naruto immediately nodded, but before he turned around he asked, "Where should I meet you, and what's the time I should meet you, Mizuki-sensei?" And Mizuki whispered to him, and Naruto nodded and jumped on the buildings to go to his house. After 3 hours, Naruto put on his jumpsuit as it was the only thing he had. He went out and jumped on top of the buildings and went towards the tower. The Hokage saw Naruto and asked, "What are you doing, Naruto?" And Naruto used his original jutsu, Oryoku no Jutsu, and Naruto transformed into a blonde pigtailed girl who was naked. This was enough for Hiruzen to be unconscious with a nosebleed, and Naruto laughed and took the scroll. "If you want to ask me where are the Umbu," Hiruzen dismissed them early. "At the woods." Naruto was sitting and he opened the scroll as he wanted to finish this, but the scroll was big, so he decided to look through the scroll. Naruto opened the scroll and saw 3 useful jutsus. Kagabunshin no Jutsu allows the user to make physical copies of themselves and can also use this for spying, also used for training. But if the user does not have enough chakra to handle themselves this jutsu, they can practically die or have severe chakra exhaustion. Also has the ability of the shadow clones dispelling and giving the memories back to the original. Taiju Kagabunshin no Jutsu. The same thing as the Kagabunshin no Jutsu, except the user can make more than 10 copies of themselves. Use this only if your chakra reserves and big enough to handle. Bunshin Daibaka. The user makes a shadow clone and put a lot of chakra in the clone, causing it to explode. Very useful for tricking your enemies. At reading those 3, Naruto was nervous yet determined. He knew his chakra was big. It was not like it wasn't noticeable. He didn't even have chakra control nor knew how to control his chakra. Naruto tried the first jutsu, Kagabunshin no Jutsu. He cried as 10 copies of him appeared. "Yo!" the clone said, followed by everyone. "Well, let's get started," Naruto said as everyone began doing what they needed to do, since they knew what they needed to do because they had the same idea as the original. "Boss, I think you might have to come and read this," the clone said. Naruto went over to the clone and saw a message. "If you're reading this, you are probably a descendant of mine. My name is Hashirama Senju. You are probably shocked that you're a descendant of me. If I'm right, you are the great-grandson of me. My granddaughter was born and selected to be the next Kyuubi holder or Jinchuriki, and I cut a little of her finger he. But if you're reading this, I'm sorry your mother has died. Now I know you must have a lot of questions. I'm Hashirama Senju, the first Hokage. Your mother's name was Kushina Uzumaki Senju Hyuga. Now it has been 20 years after your mother's birth. Your father was none other than Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage. Now one thing I have to say about your father is that you are the great-grandson of me and also the grandson of my old friend Madara Uchiha. Yes, you might be shocked, you are a part of the 3 major clans actually, because the Uzumaki also have the unique bloodline of purebloods. But that's not all. I will explain about purebloods later, so don't worry. Next, your great-grandfather from your mother's father's side was a Hyuga, and not a branch member, he was a main branch member. One thing I have to say is that the difference between the main branch and the branch member is basically purebloods and half-bloods. Now I will begin about the purebloods. Pure-blooded people are basically the highest rank in clans. Most clans don't have this, even I'm confused why would us four actually have purebloods. Well, let me begin. You see, this all started before I was even born. It was in the Sage of Six Paths era where the sage had actually 3 sons. Most people think he had only 2, but he actually had 3. The 3 sons were Indra, Ashura, and Sora. Indra was the founder of the pure-blooded for the Uchiha, which is basically his direct descendant. The half-bloods were made out of a ritual because there was a time where the Uchiha were almost extinct, so they picked a couple 100 of commoners and used a ritual to make them Uchihas or half-Uchihas. The main difference that your other grandfather told me was the Manjikyu, which I know everyone hopes you will never get this, because to unlock a Manjikyu you will need to kill your best friend, or watch him die. The same is for the half-bloods, but the Manjikyu has a weakness. Basically you will go blind if you overuse it. The same was also for the purebloods, but they don't go blind quickly. It takes a lot of time for them to go blind, though you will need their eyes. Now before your father died he made take his eyes and keep them inside a jar. You will get the same eyes as your grandfather, but I think you will be special. See, in every 100 years a child who unlocks the Manjikyu will gain the Shinsina. Mangekyo no Kopahwairuai, Divine Kaleidoscope Copy Wheel Eye, which allows them to have every ability of the Manjikyu, basically Tsukuyami, Moon Reader, Amaterasu, Heavenly Illumination, Kamui, Might of the Gods, Kodo Amatsukami, Distinguished Heavenly Gods, all 3 and other 2 of your own abilities you might get. Now next there is Ashura. He was the founder of both the Senju and Uzumaki. The same thing happened to us. Actually, we were about to be on the brink of being extinct, so we did the same thing as the Uchihas. Us purebloods in the Senju, we have certain affinities that are really maxed out. For example, since I was a Mokuton user, I had both water and earth, and they were really maxed out for this to even happen, because for a person to have a Kekkei Genkai, one, they must have 2 or more affinities, and their affinities must be really good. Anyways, now the Uzumaki, their main difference is their chakra chains. Instead of the usual gold, it's blue. It allows the user to revive a person for a certain extent of time. And Sora, who was the founder of the Hyugas, the main difference is the Byakugan. Most of the branch members can see the Tenketsu, but the main branch have a secret ability which now most of them don't know. It's called Uranai no Mi, Eyes of the Divine, which lets them see all the chakra points in their body and also all the people around them. It also makes them untouchable because it slows the enemy down after one Tenketsu is closed. Now, with this information, do your best, Mago. And don't reveal this to anyone, other than the girl you love. Don't get blinded by love. Naruto didn't know what to feel. He was happy that he was the son of the 4th Hokage and great-grandson of the 1st Hokage, and also the grandson of the infamous Uchiha Madara. But he was sad that they all died. But he wanted to figure out all of his bloodlines. Naruto closed the scroll before sensing someone coming. Wait, how the fuck can I even sense? He thought before removing that from his mind and dispelled all the clones, gaining the memories, and smirked before closing the scroll. Naruto, what are you doing? Irika shouted at Naruto, who just sheepishly rubbed the back of his head and said, well, Mizuki-sensei said that if I took the scroll I could graduate. And Irika thought before Mizuki jumped to a branch and said, good job, Naruto. You completed what you needed to do. Now give me the scroll. And Irika realized it and said, no, don't give him Naruto. And Naruto was confused, but Mizuki hit Irika with shurikens and kunais, which Irika didn't have enough time to dodge. Naruto, they have been lying to you the whole entire time. Have you ever realized why they hated you? He asked, and Naruto was curious but had a good idea in his mind, considering all the events that occurred in his birthday and his mother being a Jinchuriki. It's a coincidence, so of course he is the holder of the Kyuubi, or a Jinchuriki, as his great-grandfather said. Well, Irika would not want me tell you this, but 14 years ago, when the Nine-Tails attacked the Leaf Village, the Yondaime defeated it and sealed it inside you. You're the nine-tailed fox, he said, and Naruto showed no reaction as he expected this. Well, are you finished? Because I knew that the whole entire time, Databane, Naruto said, but as he said that his Sharingan unlocked, but since he removed his goggles, his hair covered the Sharingan. What, he knew that the whole entire time? Irika thought in shock. Well, let's see what you can do, Demon Fox, he shouted, and Naruto smirked. Taiju Kage Bun Shinen no Jutsu, Naruto shouted as 1,000 clones appeared. Well, let's see what you can do, Mizuki. All the clones said as they jumped towards Mizuki, but Naruto put some more chakra at the last second, causing them to explode, and Mizuki went unconscious, and Umbu finally came as they saw explosions and saw Naruto and Irika, and they took away Mizuki's body. Hee, Naruto said. He has mastered 3 dangerous jutsus but doesn't have chakra exhaustion. Irika thought, smiling. Naruto, come here for a moment, he said as Naruto came. Close your eyes, he said, and he closed his eyes. How much longer, Irika-sensei? Naruto asked impatiently. Open your eyes, Naruto, he said, and Naruto opened his eyes to see a headband. Wadash, Naruto was shocked before getting interrupted. Naruto, you have become a shinobi. I'm impressed by your skills. And Naruto smiled. Irika-sensei, I want you to be honest about one thing, he said, and Irika was curious. What is it, Naruto? Irika asked. What do you think I should improve in myself? He asked, and Irika smiled. You should improve your chakra control, considering your chakra reserves and your lack of discipline. You also need to eat something other than ramen to improve your physique. You also need to give up your love for Sakura, and your patience is also one thing. Irika also saw how Naruto's eyes lost color after he said, give up your love for Sakura. Irika-sensei, one thing I have to say is that I already knew that Sakura is not my actual crush. In fact, I hate her, but not for her punching me for no reason. It's for not actual training. She's the lowest form of kunoichi, if you can even call her that, as she's overall a fucking bitch, he said without no remorse, and Irika was shocked. I agree to Naruto, but I have never seen this side of you before, he said, and Naruto chuckled. Well, of course, but what can you expect? This was just a mask to hide my real emotions, he said, and Irika was surprised, but he wanted to know this side of Naruto more. Naruto, I truly believe you can become a Hokage, Irika said in pride. Naruto truly smiled for the first time in 7 years of his life. Well then, Irika-sensei, I have to go to Gigi and give back the scroll, he said, and picked up Irika and jumped over the trees and went to the hospital, and Irika smiled before he went unconscious as he was hit by kunais and shurikens after all. Hokage Tower. Naruto, my boy, I'm sorry for all the events that occurred, he said, and Naruto looked at Hiruzen with a disappointed stare. You knew my parents, didn't you? He asked, and Hiruzen nodded in shame. Well, I have one secret that I have been hiding from you the whole entire time. After when I got the scroll, I now know my whole family lineage, he said, and Hiruzen was shocked. Wait, you mean you know who's your father's father? And your mother's family? He asked, and Naruto smirked and nodded. I even unlocked one of the 2 dojutsus, he said as he opened his eyes and raised his hair and showed the Sharingan with 2 tomos. Well, Minato, well played, he thought as he smiled. I guess. Now what do you want me to do? He asked. Well, I want you to keep my heritage and everything still a secret. And why do you don't have any Umbu around here? He asked. Oh, because most of them went away to search for you. They will return shortly, he said. Well, anyways, I'm going away then, he said, and Hiruzen sat down in his chair thinking about the events. That boy, I have no doubt he can actually become Hokage, he thought as he smiled. Chapter 2 Training. The next morning. Naruto woke up. It was 6 a.m. in the morning, so he was surprised he even woke up this early, but he decided to get ready at least. After he got ready, he decided to go and train. I should probably train in chakra control, discipline, patience, shuriken jutsu, and in my Sharingan, Naruto said, and ran towards a forest near the Leaf Village. Alright, this area looks good, he said as it was filled with trees and a waterfall. Kagabunshin no Jutsu, he shouted as 10 shadow clones appeared. I want all of you to go and read about the history of Konoha and other villages. If possible, find some new E-rank to D-rank jutsus, as we can't rush in yet, Naruto said with his brain this time. Alright, boss, they said together and left. Alright then, I better make some clones for chakra control, discipline, patience, Naruto said. Taiju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto shouted as 20 shadow clones appeared. Alright, 10 of you do some chakra control exercises. especially the leaf exercise. He said, and 10 of them nodded. While 5 of you learn discipline and another 5 of you learn patience. He said, and they nodded. What about Shuriken Jutsu and your Sharingan boss? They asked, and Naruto said, I will do it by myself. And they nodded and got to work. With Naruto. All right, Sharingan. Naruto shouted as his eyes turned blood red with 2 black tomos in each eye. If I can do Shuriken Jutsu well, then maybe I can do a clone and make him throw shurikens at me. Naruto said as he got a flashback in his mind. Flashback. If you ever unlock the Sharingan, here's what to do to master your Sharingan. First, since you're a pure-blooded Uchiha, you will need to train hard, and during that training you need to push yourself to where you might die. Now here are the abilities for the normal Sharingan. Eye of Insight. The user can see chakra, giving it color to distinguish it by its composition and source, though not as capable in this regard as the Byakugan. The user is granted incredible clarity of perception, enabling them to read lips or mimic something like pencil movements. They can anticipate an opponent's next move based on the slightest muscle tension in their body and act accordingly to dodge or intercept. They can also read the enemy's hand seals to give them an insight into the performed technique's nature, regardless of the speed of performance. The user can copy almost any jutsu they see, memorizing ninjutsu, genjutsu, and taijutsu with near-perfect accuracy. They can mimic everything they see. Eye of Hypnotism. The user can perform what is generically called genjutsu through eye contact, suggest thoughts and actions to a target, coercing them to divulge information or act in a particular way, potentially without the target's awareness. The Uchiha are particularly infamous for using this ability. Multiple targets can be taken control of in this way, though the more divided the user's attention is, the easier it is for targets to escape this control. Your great-grandfather and the Shodame Hokage, Senju Hashirama. Flashback end. Well then, Naruto said as he took some shurikens from his shinobi belt. Let's start hitting, Naruto said as he threw some shurikens. Most of them hitting in the center, which Naruto was shocked. Usually he would hit like 2 or 1 but not 6. Alright, I should remember that the Sharingan is only a tool, not something you should use every time, Naruto said as he turned off his Sharingan and tried hitting them, but it was the exact same. It's like if I hit them with my Sharingan, I can hit them normally like that too. Alright then, I will perfect this then, he said as he kept throwing shurikens. After 35 minutes exactly. Come on, Naruto shouted in his mind if that was possible. He was getting frustrated. Naruto got some memories of his patience clones, which helped him, and he stayed calm like the ocean. Alright, I can do this, Naruto said as he threw 10 shurikens and hit them perfectly. I guess I have to be calm like the ocean then, Naruto thought and sighed and took a little break. I wonder what the others are doing, Naruto thought out loud and went to his clones. With the clones. All of the chakra control clones were sitting in a monk-like post-ion with 11 leaves in chakra, 10 in their fingers and 1 in their forehead. A clone each had 11 leaves in chakra actually. Wow, I wonder if I dispel them, Naruto thought but shook his head. You guys finished? He asked. All the clones looked at him. Yes, we did finish, but one of the clones said. We need jutsus like actually, we have the highest chakra control in our class, even higher than Sakura, who actually has the highest chakra control in our class because she is a civilian, but the clone was about to say before another clone interrupted. You see, you boss is actually one of the few to have this, you don't have chakra coils. The clone stated bluntly. What? Naruto shouted in disbelief. Yes, but this for some reason actually grants you ridiculous chakra control. It's weird, but it works, a clone said, and Naruto was thinking. Is this because of Kachan's Uzumaki's Tylus Beast curse? Because if it is, it makes sense. A person with ridiculously high chakra reserves actually can crush their chakra coils, but if the chakra freely goes through the person's body without any issues, then the person can have high chakra control, Naruto thought in his mind. I know this is some bull, but I needed something, you know. Well, it's probably because of Kachan's Tylus Beast curse, because if it is, it makes sense. A person with ridiculously high chakra reserves actually can crush their chakra coils well technically. If the chakra freely goes through the person's body without any issues, then the person can have high chakra control. Naruto said. The clones were nodding to that theory. More jutsuse? Naruto asked and the clones nodded. Kagabun Shin no Jutsu. Naruto said as one clones appeared and the clone nodded and dispelled itself, which gave everyone the clone's memories. So if you already made clones and need to tell a clone something but it's too far away, then the only option is to make a clone and dispel it in order for the other clone to know what to do? A clone asked and Naruto nodded. After a few seconds, a clone dispelled in the library and they all learned 4 D-rank jutsus. Shadow Shuriken Technique. The user places 2 shuriken together and throws them both at a target simultaneously. The larger the shuriken that are thrown, the greater the necessary skill. The goal is for targets to focus their attention on whichever of the 2 shuriken is on top, not noticing the second shuriken traveling below it. Ideally, targets will dodge the upper shuriken in such a way that they are left unable to dodge the second. If targets do at any point realize there's a second shuriken, the technique is rendered ineffective. Temporary paralysis technique. Using this technique causes a target or targets to be physically immobilized, as though they've been tied down with invisible steel ropes. Because it's a relatively simple technique, Awaken should be able to perform it. However, the strength of the binding varies significantly from one skill level to the next, so a mere genin could not hope to restrain the same targets that an ambicald, for temporary paralysis technique is a useful way to stop an opponent from attacking or, alternatively, make an opponent easier to attack. Body flicker technique. By using the body flicker technique, a ninja can move short to long distances at an almost untraceable speed. To an observer, it appears as if the user has teleported. It is accomplished by using chakra to temporarily vitalize the body and move at extreme speeds. The amount of chakra required depends on the overall distance and elevation between the user and the intended destination. Manipulated shuriken technique. With this technique, a translucent string, both elastic and highly durable, is attached to a shuriken, making it possible to alter its path after having thrown it. An expert will have the ability to freely glide the shuriken in any direction with just a single movement of their fingertip. The first attack, challenging the enemy, is avoided, and after a time lag of several seconds, it will come from behind. Depending on the performance, the possible tactics can be infinite. Yes, all of them shouted as these jutsus were very useful. All right, all of you master these 4. I'm going to buy some new clothes, Naruto said, and they nodded and he left. I need to buy some normal clothes, Naruto thought. I should use henge, just in case, he thought as he transformed into a normal civilian. Inside a store that Naruto found. Welcome. What do you need? The shopkeeper asked. I guess it's only me, eh? Naruto thought in his mind. Do you have any black clothes? Naruto asked. Yes, we do, the shopkeeper said. Naruto paid for his clothes and went back to where the clones were training when all of a sudden, all of the library clones dispelled together. Ouch! Naruto mentally shouted in his mind. Well, at least we learnt the whole history of Konoha, Naruto thought. Naruto went back to the forest area where he and the clones trained. With Naruto and the clones. You guys already finished? Naruto asked in astonishment. Well, it's just D-rank jutsus. We literally learnt a B-rank kenjutsu in under 10 minutes. What do you expect? A clone asked and Naruto nodded. Good point. Well, anyways, let's practice the Sharingan, Naruto said, and they nodded and began. All the clones were in a line and faced Naruto and had shurikens in their hands. Okay, I don't know if this is a good idea, Naruto thought. A few hours later, I hate myself, Naruto said tiredly. I guess I will go back home today, Naruto said as he body flickered to his house. At Naruto's house, Finally, I can easily Naruto said before he saw something under his bed. He looked under his bed and saw a scroll. What is this? Naruto said as he never saw this scroll for the past 10 years. Naruto took out the scroll and unraveled it. Hello Naruto. If you reading this I'm dead. I'm your father Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage. You have probably known about your lineage if I'm correct. So all I'm going to say is, under the scroll has some of my kunais, my knowledge about my jutsu, the Rasengan and my flying Raijin. Also at our house, there's my Sharingan that Hashirama stored in a jar. If you're wondering where is he probably died 2 years after your birth, and he probably took care of you for that 2 years. I'm probably not getting the Dad of the Year award. Few tear stains. Well, if you want to make me proud, improve my techniques and become a shinobi, that's better than me. Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage, and most importantly your father. Naruto cried a little bit reading his father's letter but looked up in determination. I promise to become the strongest shinobi in all 5 nations, and finally give everyone world peace. Naruto thought in determination and closed all the letters and took out all the kunais and placed it in his table and the scroll of the Rasengan to learn. Safe to say, Naruto slept good in that single night. Chapter 3, New Team? And a bell test? It has been 2 weeks, ever since the Mizuki incident. Naruto has awakened his will of fire, and his Sharingan. He had already gotten the 3rd tomo, which safe to say surprised him. Right now he was going to the academy. After all, it had been 2 weeks and they would get their teams. I guess I was early, huh? Naruto said to particularly no one. Naruto sat down and took out a book. It was a book on how to be a proper ninja with common sense, and it was made by his father. Dear Naruto, if you're reading this, I'm sorry for not letting you live a normal childhood. You probably even know who I'm or you do. Because if you do, I'm sorry. I gave Lord 3rd specific conditions. If you already knew who I was, then I estimate you are probably in the academy reading this or at my old house, or now your house. Now, I want to explain you to how to be a proper ninja with common sense. And do not worry, no one will notice this book. They will just ignore it and will only look at it as a boring history book. I've discovered that the vast majority of people in the elemental countries completely lack any kind of common sense when it comes to the fields of ninjutsu, ninja techniques, and fuinjutsu, sealing arts. They use ridiculously flashy, difficult, and expensive ninjutsu to do simple things. They believe that certain things can only be done with clan bloodlines. They use powerful and dangerous ninjutsu without knowing how they work or why. And many people completely ignore the field of fuinjutsu, which is, in my opinion, the most powerful ninja art in existence. A large number of so-called ninja have never used any form of fuinjutsu beyond exploding tags and storage scrolls. This book will guide you on the path to becoming a true ninja, a warrior in the shadows, a hidden protector of the innocent. This book will give you basic information on chakra, ninjutsu, and fuinjutsu, and tell you how to use that knowledge in simple and almost obvious ways that, strangely, no one else in the world seems to have figured out. You'll have to look elsewhere for taijutsu, unarmed martial arts, and other techniques, as I haven't found those fields to be underused or misunderstood like ninjutsu and fuinjutsu are. I ask that when you're done reading this, you replace it in the library where you found it. This particular copy is placed in the Konoha Shinobi Academy Library, near the history textbooks needed for the traditional first homework assignment given to all students. I also ask that, if you find yourself in a village that Konoha was not allied with during my tenure as Hokage, you hide copies of this book in their library, secured with the seal you can find in the appendix, very last page. This is your birthright. I hope you enjoy the read, son. Minato Namikaze and your father. Naruto smiled and read chapter 1, while everyone was coming in. 30 minutes later. What the hell is that rumbling? Naruto thought. The rumbling was caused by both Sakura and Ino Yamanaka, 2 of Uchiha Sasuke's fangirls. Cha! I beat you, Ino pig, Sakura said. What do you mean forehead? I clearly beat you, Ino said. Both of them continued to bicker till Sasuke's seat. Oh my god, Naruto thought in annoyance. Shut the fuck up, Naruto shouted to them and everyone was shocked. Stop thinking to just have his babies. You are fucking kunoichi. Either be a kunoichi or actually get the fuck out. You are the bane of a kunoichi's existence. I bet even Sasuke doesn't like you. All he does is just broods and broods. Just try to fucking be quiet and not screech at the maximum volume. He said, and Choji stopped eating chips. Shikamaru didn't fall asleep. Shino's bees started buzzing and his lips opened very little. An extreme emotion from him. Kiba didn't even boast. Sasuke was shocked and Hinata was, well, happy for Naruto to stop Sakura and Ino. Sakura immediately tried to punch Naruto, who just moved to the side. You could be a good kunoichi, but pathetic, Naruto said coldly and left Sakura, who was in fear. Irika came in and saw Sakura and Ino standing. Sakura and Ino, go to your seats, Irika said, but Kiba raised his hand. Irika-sensei, how did Naruto pass? He asked, and Irika said, he passed because he captured a traitor who was Mizuki, and also learning a forbidden jutsu, which Naruto can tell you himself. He said, and everyone was shocked and Naruto sat there emotionlessly. I better not show them my skills now, though. I could finish the Rasengan and become at least high Chunin level and just sharpen my skills and make my body flicker better, Naruto thought as Irika started talking about the teams. Team 7, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto raises his head up Sakura Haruno. Sakura puts her head down and Naruto gets depressed. And Sasuke Uchiha. Your sensei will be Kakashi Hatake, Irika said, and Naruto already put his head back down as he expected this, considering Kakashi would probably want him in his team and Sasuke was needed for the Sharingan and Sakura was someone he didn't expect, although he secretly wished for Hinata. Take that, Ino pig, true love conquers them all, Sakura shouted towards Ino. Shut up, Sakura, Irika said, being tired of her doing this, and Sakura quieted down. Team 8, Hinata Hyuga, Shino Aburame, and Kiba Inuzuka. Your sensei will be Kurenai Yuhi, Irika said, and Hinata was sad that she wasn't in Naruto's team but was still happy she was with her friends. Team 9 is still in circulation, so. Team 10, Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, and Choji Akimichi, Irika said. As predicted, Naruto and Shikamaru thought simultaneously. This is such a drag. First, Naruto is acting stronger and took down Mizuki. Second, I'm in a team with Ino. Shikamaru thought before opening one of his eyes and looking at Naruto and shook his head and lied down on the table. 3 hours later. Well, I guessed it, Naruto thought as he sensed Kakashi coming. Kakashi entered the room and said nothing until. You all look like a bunch of idiots. Meet me at the roof, Kakashi said as Sakura got a tick mark and Sasuke just H-in. And Naruto slapped his forehead and both Sakura and Sasuke left and Naruto climbed on the walls of the academy and reached the roof. Yo, Kakashi, Naruto said as he waved his hand and was reading a book. It was in red in color and had a title that said, A Ninja's Teamwork, written by none other than his father, Minato Namikaze. Could he possibly know? Kakashi thought before shaking that thought away as he saw Sasuke and Sakura there. Come sit down, Naruto shouted, and both of them came while Sasuke was just thinking that, I'm an Uchiha, he shouldn't order me around. Well, anyways, say the basic stuff, your name, likes, dislikes, and dreams, Kakashi said. Sensei, can you give us an example? Sakura asked, and Naruto and Kakashi looked at each other and simultaneously thought, she cannot be a fucking kunoichi. Kakashi sighed. My name is Kakashi Hatake. What I like is none of your business and what I dislike is none of your business. My dream? I forgot, Kakashi said, and Sasusaku twitched and Naruto saw it. Well, Sakura, you did only ask an example, Naruto said, and Sakura was about to punch him before Kakashi interrupted. Don't fight kunoichi. You're now under my restriction and remove that dyed bubblegum looking hair. It's fucking disgusting, Kakashi said harshly, and Sakura paled at removing her hair, but she knew she couldn't be with Sasuke-kun after that. Alright, since you're the one to talk, you go first. My name is Sakura Haruno. What I like is, what I love is. Asterisk a fucking squeal asterisk my dream is to. What the actual foo, squeal my dislikes are Ino Pig and Naruto Baka, Sakura shouted, and Naruto and Kakashi were seriously thinking. Okay bro, what the actual fudesh? Both thought simultaneously before Kakashi sighed and said, duck but fucker go next. And Sasuke growled, and before Sasuke started to speak, Naruto interrupted by throwing a bone and ruffling Sasuke's hair. Good boy, Naruto said, and Sasuke growled even more, and Kakashi was trying to stifle a laugh. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. My dislikes are tomatoes, and I have a lot of dislikes. I don't have a dream, but I do have an ambition. That is to kill the person who slaughtered my clan. Sasuke said as comically a fucking lightning dropped from the sky, and in reality it was casted by Naruto. Hee hee. Sorry Kakashi, but this time I know ninja rule number 15. Naruto thought as Kakashi again let a sigh and said, next you blonde sunshine. Kakashi said, and Naruto smiled and said, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. What I like is nothing. What I dislike is nothing. My dream is to be Hokage. Naruto said, and Kakashi said, you have to say something, you know? And Naruto smirked and said, ninja rule number 15. A person must never reveal his likes or dislikes, as it could be used against him in battle, even if it is just training. And Kakashi smirked. Well, looks like someone here is smart. And Sakura and Sasuke got jealous of Naruto. Well, anyways, come to training ground 7 at 5 a.m. in the morning, and don't eat breakfast, he said as he puffed into smoke, and Naruto smirked as ninja rule number 1. Always eat breakfast. And Naruto shined to his house. And Sasuke went away before Sakura could say something, and she also left. Chapter 4. A Bell Test? Council Meeting? Naruto just woke up and groaned. It had been a day after they got their teams. Naruto knew he needed to execute his plan perfectly. He needed to not make anyone suspicious, so the best thing to do is to have deception, the way of the shinobi. Naruto brushed, ate, and began going to training ground 7. Okay, so I better not unleash any of my moves except taijutsu and the Academy 3. Naruto thought, and no one was there, so he had decided to dispel his Rasengan clones, which he became all giddy after successfully learning the Rasengan. All he needed to do is improve it, to make his father proud. Naruto spread his sensory ability and felt 5 umbu near him. He smirked and jumped towards one umbu. The umbu kicked Naruto away and made some hand signs. Katan, Gakakyu no Jutsu, the man shouted as a huge fireball came towards Naruto, who simply substituted beside the umbu and used his seal, which stored a chikudo. It was specially made for him when he learned about his mother being a kenjutsu master. Then he sliced his head and saw the mask, and it said "Ine," and Naruto stored him in his storage seal, and all the 4 umbu came towards him. Naruto shined towards them, and all the 4 respective umbu jumped back. Fire, water, earth, lightning style. Scorched acidic earth. The 4 umbu shouted as a huge fireball came, then a water ball came and combined with the fire because of the earth protecting the fire, and lightning surrounded the giant ball. Naruto was cornered here, but he can't lose. He is Naruto Uzumaki. The next Hokage, Uchiha Madara's grandson, Hashirama Senju's great-grandson, and Raphael Hyuga's great-grandson. Suddenly veins popped in his eyes. He could see a 360 view and nearly dodged the sword attack and substituted when the small version of Earth literally came towards him, and he quickly put some chakra into his hands, and then a spiraling sphere was in his hand, and he killed 2 umbus while the other 2 were knocked back by the pressure of the Rasengan. Naruto quickly disabled his Byakugan and went towards them and said, Wind Style, Divination Technique, Divine Wind Dragon. As a huge dragon which was covered in wind chakra and powered with normal chakra came rushing and killed all of them in one shot, and Naruto panted a little. I better just go ahead to the training ground, Naruto thought, and shined nearby Sasuke and Sakura. You both ate? He asked. Of course not, Naruto Baka. Sensei told us to not eat. Sakura shouted before Naruto applied a seal on her. Finally, this will make you shut up, Naruto said and tossed them 2 protein bars. Eat up. Sensei would not like us listening to his advice. Have you not known the phrase underneath the underneath? He asked, and Sasuke agreed but did not show it. Sakura, you have low chakra reserves. I want you to improve that by continuously spending your chakra reserves, and stop dieting. Shinobi do a lot of work. I know you love Sasuke, so he might actually like you if you are strong, you know? Naruto said, and Sakura looked towards Sasuke, who nodded. You can become a medic nin. I'm also learning medical ninjutsu. If I ever needed it in a battle, and it's perfect because your low chakra gives you near-perfect chakra control. Naruto said, and Sakura nodded in determination. Sasuke. Naruto began, and Sasuke immediately looked at Naruto. You need to stop thinking about the massacre. If you want to defeat the person behind the massacre, then stop brooding about it, work hard, and you'll achieve it. If you ever want to unlock the Sharingan, which I think you already unlocked, didn't you? You just never activated it, if I'm correct. Naruto asked, and Sasuke applied chakra into his eyes, and there was 1 tomo in his left and 2 tomo in his right. As I predicted, this could be useful, and Sasuke, I beg of you to not leave your teammates behind. Your attitude is one of the reasons why no one likes to be friends with you. Only fangirls want to be more than that. Naruto said, and Sasuke nodded. Well, anyways, eat up. I want to show you 2 chakra control exercises. This will help you not to spend too much chakra, as we learnt in the academy, but this is another chakra control exercise. It's called tree walking. As the name suggests, you walk on trees, but with chakra. Naruto said as he climbed the tree. Now it takes time, but I bet you can finish it before Sensei comes, but before that. 2 hours later. You're late, Sakura said, and Kakashi smiled. Well, I'm sorry. I had to save a fish from drowning, he said calmly, and they sweat dropped. Even I know that's a pathetic excuse, Kakashi, Naruto thought. Well, anyways, puts a clock, you have to get these bells before the timer ends. You have until noon to finish this survival exercise. Now begin, Kakashi said, and everyone went inside the bushes. Shinobi rule number 54. Always hide away from your enemies, Kakashi thought, impressed. Sasuke came out of the bushes a few minutes later and rushed Kakashi. Not using the help of your teammates? Kakashi thought, and Sasuke was using taijutsu against Kakashi, and then Kakashi kicked Sasuke away, which he smirked and put fire chakra in his stomach and said, Katan, Gakikyu no Jutsu, and Kakashi was shocked. No genin has that much amount of chakra, and just before that he stepped on a trap which was made by Sakura, and he covered in a sticky situation, and Naruto went towards Kakashi and swiftly grabbed the bells, and all of them smirked. So you knew the purpose, huh? Kakashi asked. Teamwork, Naruto responded. Who made the plan? Well, I did, Naruto said, and both of them nodded. Good job. I will count on you if things go wrong, Kakashi said, and Naruto smiled. Well, we are officially Team 7. Our first mission starts tomorrow, Kakashi said, and shined to his house. Well then, by Sasuke and Sakura, Naruto said and waved, and Sasuke waved, and Sakura waved. At Sakura's house. Mom, Sakura said. Ah, Sakura, my dear, what happened in your test? Mabuki asked. Mom, that Naruto put a voice seal on me, Sakura said, and Mabuki immediately went out and said, I will come back later, dear, she said as she went towards the council meeting room. At the Hokage Tower. Gigi, I want to ask if you know about this, he asked as he opened a storage scroll that had a umbu and a mask on him. Naruto, how did you find this? He asked/demanded. I was training when all of a sudden I sensed 5 umbu near me, so I fought against them and won, he said, and Hiruzen nodded. These umbu are from a person named Danzo Shimura, the leader of Root, which I removed, he said as he took a picture from him. Well, anyways, I'm going to go home, Naruto said, but Hiruzen said, no, you can't, there's a council meeting and it's about you. Well then, if I'm ever going to be Hokage, I better learn about council meetings then, right? Naruto asked, and Hiruzen sighed and smiled. Well then, are you coming? He asked, and Naruto nodded. Council meeting. All right, what is the problem now, Mabuki? He asked. The demon tried to put a silencing seal on my daughter, she said. Well, I'm here, so I can say one thing, your daughter is a screeching god. No wonder she's your daughter. She's also a disgrace to Kunoichis and saying stuff about your almighty Uchiha like I'm not joking, I quote unquote, she said. Sasuke-kun is better than you Naruto baka. Like I'm not joking, improve on her behavior, even I have Gavin advice. Like her best branch is to be a medical nin and improve her chakra control to max. She has the potential of Tsunade-sama. Naruto cringed at saying that, though you couldn't do anything to help her? He asked, and Mabuki stayed quiet. Now that issue is solved. Now Danzo, why were you spying on Naruto? He asked, and Danzo showed no emotion. What do you mean, Hokage-sama? He asked. We both know what you did, Danzo. You were spying on him, while if he does something bad for the village, am I right? He asked, and Danzo stayed emotionless. Of course. What if he gets evil and goes against the village? He asked, and Naruto slapped his forehead. If I was evil, I would have already left this village. This village has scorched me, burned me alive, used me, and something else. Which kids should not know if you're reading this, he said, and all of them were shocked. If you dare think I don't love this village, you're crippled one-eyed donkey. I will rip that other eye from your socket and show you every secret, he said with a glare that Minato and Madara would be proud. If I had 1 nickel for every person that hates me, it would be the whole village, Naruto said, and got out of the council meeting room and went to his home and slept peacefully. Chapter 5. First C rank mission turns into an A rank. It was a fresh and nice morning in the Hidden Leaf. Naruto woke up and got prepared and went to Training Ground 7, as their sensei called them today. Yo, Sakura and Sasuke, Naruto said as he waved towards Sasuke, but not Sakura, as ever since that council meeting his respect towards Sakura diminished a little. Well, anyways, where is sensei? Naruto asked, and Kakashi body flickered there. Well, sorry for being late, I don't have any excuses right now, but today we are going on our first C rank mission, so get at least 2 weeks worth of clothes, as we don't know if it might turn downhill. Come at 2 p.m. And the client name is Tazuna. He is a bridge builder that works in the Land of Waves, Kakashi said, and Naruto nodded and body flickered and went to his house. Sasuke went to his compound and Sakura went to her house. At Naruto's house. Sora, report on your mission, Naruto said as he wanted to know how his spy network was going. We have found out that in your mission, the bridge builder Tazuna is targeted by Gato, a famous businessman, as it also looks like he has been doing some illegal activities. He has hired the Demon Brothers and also the Demon of the Mist, Zabuza Momochi, Sora said as Naruto rubbed his head. This mission might or might not go well depending on the circumstances, Naruto thought, and made a shadow clone to prepare his things for his mission. 2 hours later. Naruto was waiting near the gates. He was nervous since it was his first time out of the village, but that nervousness was beaten by his confidence. He wanted to use his Sharingan, so he applied a special genjutsu on himself. That way no one would find out. All right, team, you all prepared? Kakashi asked, and all of them nodded. Then let's start, Tazuna said, and they started walking. So Tazuna, how is the Land of Waves? Sakura asked. Instead of Tazuna or Kakashi, it was actually Naruto who answered. The Land of Waves is a very poor country. It doesn't really have the basic necessary items, and if I'm correct, it does get it trades from using boats, and if I'm correct, this bridge will help Tazuna connect to the mainland and make the country a better place. Am I right, Tazuna? Naruto asked, and Tazuna nodded in surprise. Well, good job, Naruto, Kakashi said, praising him. Thanks, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto exclaimed, and Kakashi chuckled, and they kept walking. A few minutes later, Team 7 and Tazuna were walking until Naruto noticed 2 chakra signatures 500 meters away. Everyone, diamond position, Naruto exclaimed as he went to the front, and Kakashi asked, Why Naruto? And Naruto said, I'm a sensor, an extremely gifted one at that. I sense 2 chakra natures 500 meters away. And Kakashi smiled and said, Good job for noticing that, Naruto. When Naruto and the others reached, they saw a puddle, and Naruto immediately wasted no time and threw a paper kunai which exploded on impact, and Gozu and Meizu, the 2 demon brothers, came out, and Naruto said, Sasuke. And he nodded and went towards Gozu, and Naruto went towards Meizu, and Sakura was protecting Tazuna by placing traps around her. Naruto versus Meizu. Kid, you are 10 years early to be fighting against me. Meizu said, and Naruto didn't respond and jumped towards Meizu and sent a fast kick which had a lot of pressure and broke Meizu's arm. Shit, this brat is no joke, he thought, and immediately threw his chains which were filled with poison and hit Naruto, but Naruto made himself poison resistant by putting almost every poison filled in his body. Naruto went back and used a simple Suetun Daibaka, and he hit Meizu, who was unconscious after being hit by that, and Naruto said, "Done." Sasuke vs. Gozu. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Sasuke said as he wasted no time and quickly began, and Gozu got burned easily by not expecting a mere genin to do a C-rank jutsu, but he was not dead, just unconscious. Good job Naruto and Sasuke, you guys did well. Kakashi praised, and Naruto smirked and raised his fist in the air. Alright, now we wait until they wake up, Kakashi said, and Team 7 nodded. A few minutes later, Gozu and Meizu finally woke up and were greeted by Team 7 and Tazuna staring at them. Why were you guys trying to kill the bridge builder? Kakashi asked in a sweet tone that meant death if not answered. Gozu and Meizu immediately answered, we were asked by Gato, you know, the famous businessman, right? Well, he asked us to kill the bridge builder as it would ruin his plans or something. Please don't kill us. What should we do now? I mean, the basic protocol says that we have to go back to the village, though I know me and Sasuke don't agree. Naruto says, and Kakashi summoned a ninja dog and gave him a scroll, and the dog ran off. Wait a minute, before we say anything let me just… Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Naruto exclaimed as a medium fireball appeared. Even though Naruto had mastered this jutsu to the point he could do it without any hand seals and made his own variant of this jutsu, he didn't try to act cool or something. Then Gozu and Meizu died, which shocked Team 7 and Tazuna. We all know this is the life of shinobi, right? Deal with it, and if you're asking how I am, I feel terrible, but this was not my first kill, so you agree to finish this mission? He asked. Well, I'm alright if you are. What about you, Sakura? You are important as your traps are very useful in certain situations. Kakashi said, and Sakura said, well, I'm ready, Kakashi-sensei. Sakura says, happy being praised by their sensei. She's slowly gaining my respect, who knows? Maybe I will share her with Naru. Wait, what? Sasuke thought before shaking his head. Well, Tazuna, have you had some words to say for yourself? Kakashi asked, and Tazuna was sweating. Well, I guess I can't hide it anymore, huh? Well, you see, since the Land of Waves is a poor country, it doesn't have a military or any shinobis, so the Gato company came to us and took over our land, taking the women as slaves and using all our money and making our citizens living in poverty, Tazuna said before saying something that made them amused. If you guys don't try to help my country out, and if I get killed, then my grandson and my daughter will hate the Leaf Shinobis forever, Tazuna said in a sarcastic voice, while a little of it was not sarcastic. He really is a good actor, the Leaf Shinobi thought as they sweat dropped. Well, anyways, let's start walking, Kakashi said, and they started walking. A few moments later. I sense something in that bush. I think I should hit it with a kunai, Naruto thought as he threw a kunai at a bush which made a sound, and Sakura shouted at Naruto, Naruto, that was a bunny. Poor thing. Sakura exclaimed, and suddenly Naruto and Kakashi felt someone nearing them, and Naruto heard a sword flying. Duck! Both Kakashi and Naruto shouted, and Kakashi lowered Tazuna's head while Naruto helped Sakura. Are you alright, Sakura? He asked, and Sakura was in a daze but nodded. I wish he could do the same thing to him. Suki, pull yourself, the supposed Sasuke thought. Well, if isn't the copy ninja and his brats. Zabuza said as he was standing in the tree with the Kubikarabocho, one of the weapons of the demon swordsman of the mist. Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura protect Tazuna at all costs. Insert the only they fear is you Doom soundtrack. Copy ninja. I'm not here for you or your brats. All I want is the bridge builder, Zabuza said. Well, I'm sorry, if you want him, then you'll have to get through me first, Kakashi said as he adjusted his forehead protector, which showed his reason why he is called the copy ninja, Sharingan no Kakashi. Ho? Already using the Sharingan on me? I'm honored. Zabuza said as he took his Kubikirabocho and clashed with Kakashi, engaging him on a taijutsu battle. Water style, Water Dragon Jutsu. Both called out as the Water Dragon clashed, and Zabuza and Kakashi both clashed again, and Kakashi had fell for Zabuza's trick and was near water, which Zabuza manipulated and made a water prison. Water style, Water Prison, Zabuza said as he smirked. Music end. It's too dangerous. All of you take Tazuna and go, Kakashi said, and Naruto reminded Kakashi. Weren't you the one to say those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash? Well, I'm not trying to be a trash bin here, Naruto exclaimed. The only thing they fear is you, but at the 057 mark. Sasuke, Naruto said, pulling out Sasuke's days, and immediately nodded, and Naruto and Sasuke went to Zabuza, and Sasuke said, Fire style, Fireball Jutsu, and Naruto said, Wind style, Wind Dragon, and both of them combined, making a fire dragon which was having some blackish fire, and Zabuza immediately said, Water style, Water Clones, which then was providing some backup for the huge fireball, and Zabuza released his concentration on the water prison, which Kakashi looked at Zabuza with a Sharingan enhanced glare. Excellent teamwork, Naruto and Sasuke, he said, and all three of them smirked. Now then, Zabuza, for hurting my students, this is going to be painful, Kakashi said, inserting some killing intent, which will be referred as K.I. Ushi, Saru, U, Nei, Tori, Ushi, Uma, Tori, Ne Tora, Inu, Tora, Mi Ushi, Hitsuji, Mi Hitsuji Ne. Zabuza recites as he forms each hand sign. Ushi, Saru, U, Nei, Tori, Ushi, Uma, Tori, Ne Tora, Inu, Tora, Mi Ushi, Hitsuji, Mi Hitsuji Ne. Kakashi follows along flawlessly. Jin, Saru, Tori, Tatsu, Tori, Ushi, Uma, Hitsuji, Tora, Mine Saru, Ui, Tatsu, Hitsuji, Ne Ushi, Saru, Tori, Jin, Ne Torai. Kakashi and Zabuza finish simultaneously. Water style, Water Dragon Jutsu. Instantly, two dragons made of water rise up and coil around one another, canceling each other out. Then their creators run in at one another. Zabuza runs in with his Kubikirabocho, and Kakashi runs with a kunai in hand, and their weapons collide, and Kakashi press with all his might to keep Zabuza's blade from killing him. Could it be? Zabuza wonders, then runs to the left, and Kakashi does the same movement, and when Zabuza stops, so does Kakashi. Then Zabuza makes the hand sign for the hidden mist jutsu. He isn't just following, he moves the same way at the same time. Tazuna says, My movements, it's as if he knows what I'm going to do next. Kakashi finishes Zabuza's thought out loud for him. What is he reading my mind as well? He looks at me with that eye. It makes you furious, doesn't it? All you're doing is copying me like a monkey. You can't beat me with cheap tricks, I'll crush you, Kakashi and Zabuza say simultaneously. When I finish you, I will make sure you never open that monkey mouth again. Zabuza growls and forms hand signs. Just then a shadow appears behind Kakashi, causing Zabuza to pause in mid-signs. What is that? The shadow starts to take form, and after a few seconds Zabuza looks and sees himself. It's me. But how? Is this his illusion jutsu? Water style, Giant Vortex Jutsu, Kakashi says, then his Sharingan spins around. The gigantic blast of water fires at Zabuza. I was just about to create a vortex, but he created one first. He copies my jutsu before I can even do them. I can't keep up. Zabuza gets blasted by the water and is slammed into a tree. Then several kunai connect with Zabuza. You're finished. Music end. How? Can you see into the future? Zabuza asks. Yes, I can. This is your last battle ever. Just then two Senbon connect with Zabuza's neck. Naruto and Team 7 look over to where the needles came from, and they see a person with and unable to identify his/hers gender. Her shinobi outfit consisted of the standard Kirigakure pinstriped outfit which stopped at her knees. Over this she wore a green haori with white trimmings and around her waist a brown sash with a fringed trail wrapped around his waist twice. She also wore light brown platoon sandals with straps in the same color as her kimono and nail polish on his fingernails and toenails in matching blue-green color. When wearing this outfit, her long hair was gathered in a white bun holder, while 2 locks of her hair fell loose framing his face, bound with metal hair cuffs at the ends. She also wore a hunter-nin mask, which was white with thin, curved eye holes and a red wavy design in place of the mouth, as well as the Kirigakure symbol etched in the top. "You're right, it was his last battle," the hunter-nin says. Kakashi leaps over to Zabuza's corpse and places his index and middle on Zabuza's neck. "No vital signs. I thank you for your assistance in taking him down. I have been waiting for the opportunity to take him down," the hunter ninja bows. "By your mask, I can tell you're a hunter ninja from the hidden mist village," Kakashi says. "You're well informed." "Just what is a hunter ninja?" Tazuna asks. Hunter ninja are an elite group of ninja with very special skills. When a rouge ninja runs away from their village, they carry all sorts of secrets with them. Hunter ninja are sent out to ensure those secrets stay secret by eliminating them. Naruto says look at the hunter ninja with his Sharingan. Judging by her chakra, she's probably a female ninja. Naruto's face turns blank as he continues to contemplate this turn of events. "I will take this body and to ensure the secrets of the hidden mist village stay secret." Haku leaps down and grabs Zabuza's body, then shunsins away. "Well, I guess we won't have to see Zabuza again," Naruto says to his teammates. "Yeah, if we never meet again it will be too soon," Sasuke says. "At any rate, we need to head back to Tazuna's house. From there, we will work on what to do," Kakashi says, and then he pulls down his headband to cover his Sharingan. Then Team 7 walk off thinking of the day's events. Just as Kakashi takes his 3rd step, he collapses on the ground. "Damn, no matter how many times I use the Sharingan, the backlash is always incredible." "Take some rest, Kakashi-sensei. I have learnt some medical ninjutsu with the book that Naruto gave me," Sakura said as her hands glowed a light green and Kakashi felt better. Chapter 6. Realization, Training of Kakashi-sensei. It had been 2 days after Kakashi's Sharingan backlash came for overusing it, and safe to say he got better and was asked questions after questions from Sasuke. Right now, they were behind Tazuna's house training. "Alright team, even though I haven't recovered fully yet, I will make you all learn the basic chakra control exercises, tree walking and water walking," Kakashi said. "Now first let's start with tree walking," Kakashi said. "Sensei, I already know about this exercise, so may I train alone? If they want, I can give them some clones which can help them," Naruto asked said, and Sakura and Sasuke nodded in acceptance, and Kakashi said, "Alright, but if I may ask, what level are you in?" And Naruto replied, "I mastered every single chakra control exercise. Right now I'm creating my own chakra control exercise known as air walking. Basically for this you need wind chakra, and you need to have your chakra control at high Jonin level for this," Naruto said, which shocked Team 7, and Naruto simply said, "I know it might look like I'm lying, but who the actual fuck is going to make a chakra control exercise, especially a fresh genin?" And Kakashi sighed. "Well, if he trains, I can see his skill level and report them to Hokage-sama," Kakashi thought while thinking of what Hiruzen said. Flashback. "Kakashi, do you know why I bring you here?" Hiruzen asked. "No, Hokage-sama, your umbu didn't specify any of your reasons," Kakashi said. "Well, the topic is about Naruto," Hiruzen said, and it felt like the room had more pressure than usual. "Anything about him, Hokage-sama?" he asked. "You see, Naruto has known about his heritage. He's also been training around and helping my grandson. I'm ashamed of my counsel, but they are asking me to monitor Naruto. And I respect Naruto's privacy, though the council will demand stuff and make polls for other undemandable things, and they'll win, and Danzo is trying to monitor Naruto and learn of his skills. Right now he can't identify anything. So I want you to monitor Naruto Uzumaki. Will you accept this mission?" Hiruzen asked, and Kakashi wanted to say no immediately, but he was a leaf shinobi, no way in hell he wouldn't do a mission. I accept the mission, Hokage-sama. Kakashi said. This was undoubtedly his hardest mission yet, on the emotional surface, as he would be taking care of Naruto if it wasn't for the Kyuubi releasing that night. Kakashi, if you ever want to decline this mission, I will allow, as I know your relationship with Naruto as he was supposed, to be your little brother. Hiruzen said, and Kakashi didn't say anything and just left in a body flicker, for the first time in the Hokage office. I'm sorry, Minato and Kushina. Hiruzen silently thought as two leaves brushed above the air. Flashback end. Naruto walked nearby to an area with a lake and some trees. Alright, looks like a good spot, Naruto said as he said, Shadow Clone Jutsu, and 10 clones appeared. Alright, all of you begin airwalking while I will try to make my own jutsu. And they nodded. Alright, now what I heard from Dad was the Rasengan was not complete, so if I can complete it, I own the jutsu, though I do have an idea. Naruto thought as he positioned his palm and started applying wind chakra and started to shape it into what looked like an atom which was about to explode. The wind was making everything shake, maybe. I need an extra clone, Naruto thought, but was grinning. Incomplete version. Windstar. Naruto called and smashed it onto a tree which made a star shape and exploded into what you would think as a bijou bomb, but really bad. Whoa, Naruto said as he grinned. It was progress, though when he looked back at his hand he saw that his injuries was still healing. Maybe I should use it when necessary, Naruto thought and said, Shadow Clone Jutsu, as 2 clones appeared. Alright, one of you stabilize the Rasengan and the other stabilize my Windstar in my hand, alright? He said, and they nodded. Naruto started applying wind chakra into an atom while the other clone stabilized it, and he added a Rasengan which made a violent sound of high-pitched coming from the wind chakra. The other clone was stabilizing it. He said, Wind-style Rasen Star. He said as he slammed it onto a tree, and the tree violently ripped itself and the Rasen Star exploded and looked like mini beams coming out of it, and it spinned fast in a star-like shape and exploded everything in a 100-meter radius. What the actual Fudesh? Naruto didn't even finish as he was flabbergasted. Naruto looked at his hand which had a lot of burn marks. Imagine Kakashi's hand from the Rasengan versus incomplete Rasen Shuriken. I should definitely use this at the worst-case situations. In the meantime I could improve my jutsu, Naruto thought. Well, might as well see what the others are up to, Naruto said. Meanwhile with Kakashi. He's truly Sensei's son, alright, making a jutsu when you're only 14 years old. Even though I made it younger, it wasn't even that powerful, Kakashi thought, impressed. Back to Naruto. Naruto went to the direction where his clones were and saw them levitating in the air. You finished it? Naruto asked, and the clones shook their heads. Actually, what we are doing is maintaining each other's wind chakra. Yes, we have finished but not mastered. It would take us months unless we use the multi-shadow clones, though I recommend that only after we reach back to the leaf and go to our mixed compound. And note, find out what is the mixed compound. I guess it's alright then, though how much has our chakra control improved? Naruto asked. We are probably at the level of Midkage level. If we reach high, we can be almost as much as Bachan. I speculate that will happen after we master this exercise, the clone said. Well, that's good. How much shadow clones you think I can make with just 1% of my chakra reserves? He asked. Probably 50 clones. A clone answered, and Naruto became impressed. It wasn't every day you just straight up skipped Lokage level and go to Midkage. I haven't questioned. How did you come up with the idea of using more clones? Naruto asked as he had an idea of it but needed confirmation. Well, we saw what you did with the clone trick, so we decided to do the same thing, they said, and Naruto smirked. If I keep finding out more about my shadow clones, more just keeps appearing. Naruto smirked and the clones looked confused. What do you mean? The clones asked. If I have an idea, the shadow clone improves the idea, he said, and the clones grinned. This could help out a lot. Well, anyways, all of you dispel. I'm gonna go check on the both of them, Naruto said, and Kakashi became confused. Did he knew he was here? Naruto kept walking until he said, "Kakashi, come out. I know you've been watching me." Naruto said. "How did you know I was watching you?" he asked as he jumped down from the tree. "I sensed your chakra. Didn't I tell you I was a sensor?" Naruto asked, and Kakashi mentally slapped his forehead. "Well, why were you spying on me?" Naruto asked. "I was spying on you because, well, I needed to know if my cute little genin was safe after all," Kakashi said as an excuse. Naruto knew it was an excuse, but he acted like he believed it. "Alright, let's go ahead and see what they're doing," Naruto said as they walked towards where Sakura and Sasuke were. "Alright, Sakura, I have a secret to tell you. Promise you won't tell this to anyone?" Sasuke asked. Why is Sasuke-kun asking me?" She thought, as it was unusual of him asking anything. "Sakura, I'm actually not a he, I'm a she," Sasuke said, finally dropping the bombshell. "What?" Sakura shouted, though the seal reduced it. "Yes, actually." Sasuke dispelled his genjutsu, revealing her long hair, with her B-cup breasts with an hourglass figure, letting her black raven-colored hair flow freely. "My name is Tsuki Uchiha, the Uchiha matriarch," she said as Sakura was gaping. "Wow, I never expected you would be a girl, Sasuke," Sakura said as she corrected herself in the end. "Hehe. I only trust you because you are my teammate, alright? Don't tell to Naruto, alright?" she asked, and Sakura nodded. A few minutes later. "Alright, let's train in water walking, though we have to remove our clothes for this one. So I will just show you how you have to do it. Sasuke, copy it with your Sharingan," Naruto said as he walked on the water. "If you think you mastered this exercise, either one of you go back and make waves of water for the other. If they fall down, that means they haven't mastered it completely yet," the clone said as it dispelled itself, and Sasuke removed her genjutsu and they both started to begin the exercise. Sakura took the first step and did it, but when she took the second step, she immediately fell down. Tsuki also tried, though she only did one step better than Sakura. Around the time when Kakashi and Naruto came. "They are probably doing water walking right now," Naruto said. "Well then, let's go ahead and train with them," Kakashi said, and Naruto nodded. "Oi, Sasuke," Naruto said in the distance, and Tsuki immediately blushed and put her genjutsu back up. "Sakura, can you and Kakashi go? I want to talk with Naruto," he said, and Sakura nodded. "Kakashi-sensei, can you train me, Sasuke-kun and Naruto, and train each other?" Sakura asked, and Kakashi raised an eyebrow but nodded, and they both left in a body flicker. "Sasuke?" Naruto asked. "Naruto, I'm actually not Sasuke," he said, and Naruto was confused. "What do you mean?" he asked. "My real name is..." Sasuke removed her genjutsu and said, "Tsuki Uchiha," she said, and Naruto blushed. He wouldn't say it, but Tsuki looked good, though Tsuki smirked as she saw the blush Naruto had on his face. End note. Also, I'm not the type of person to make Naruto dominate girls, as I usually make girls dominate Naruto more, so if you want to see that, then this fanfic is good for you. Tsuki, Naruto couldn't say anything right now as he was just having no words. Tsuki smirked even wider. "Are you done looking at my body?" she asked with a smirk, and Naruto blushed a storm and sheepishly rubbed the back of his head. "Sorry, but shouldn't we actually train?" he asked, and she nodded. "I'm going to train on my fireball jutsu, you better do something too," she said, and Naruto wondered for a second, and a light bulb appeared signaling he had an idea. "Well, we could make a combined jutsu, or for Nun's 4 fans, a team ultimate." "Well, what do you want to do?" she asked as her hair flew with the breeze. "Well, as you saw when we both fought against Zabuza, I made a wind dragon and you made a fireball. So I actually have an improved technique called divination style, divine wind dragon," he said, and she remembered the fight against Zabuza and raised her eyebrow, indicating to want to know about this jutsu. So you want me to a fireball jutsu? She asked, and Naruto shook his head. No, I rather want to know if you know fire style. Phoenix flower jutsu? He asked, and she nodded, and Naruto smirked. This was one of the jutsus he tested with his clones. Well then, come on, he said, and she nodded. Fire style, Phoenix flower jutsu, she said, and Naruto immediately said, divination style, divine wind dragon, which made the large wind dragon, which was making pressure waves all around them, opened its mouth and engulfed the fireballs and spat them out, which had black flames and bluish flames over it, and destroyed 50 trees with one blackish-blue flamed fireball. It vanished as Naruto stopped it, not wanting more destruction. Now how was that? What the actual foo dash, she said as she was flabbergasted. All right, now let's see what we can name this technique, Naruto said. The balls of Amat eras. Nah, that sounds too weird, Suki said, and Naruto unconsciously lowered his hand to his lower parts. The divine phoenix of Amaterasu? Nah, too much words, she said, and Naruto had an idea. Divine blue flames? He asked, and Suki nodded. That sounded better. All right then, Uchiha Uzumaki style. Divine blue flames, he said, and she whistled at that. Chapter 7. Chakra Chain's Roar. Naruto groaned. He felt someone with him and saw Suki. What is she doing here? He thought, and woke her up, and she saw him and smiled and said, Good morning, Naruto-kun. And Naruto blushed while saying, Good morning, Suki-chan. During the week they had known about Zabuza coming again, Naruto also met that hunter ninja, as he was sure it was her. Naruto was being bathed by the sun, while his crystal blue eyes glowed from the rays of the sun. Should we get up? He asked. During the week he also shouted towards Inari. Flashback. Naruto was looking at a picture which was broken and said, Why is it broken? And suddenly the mood shifted. That was my son-in-law and Inari's father. And Naruto said, I can guess from your mood he died, didn't he? He asked, and Tazuna nodded. Suddenly Inari came and said, You all should give up. You can't beat Gato. And Naruto looked towards Inari and said, Why? Because he's powerful. You probably don't know how to suffer since you live in a village which is perfect, right? And the room felt like it was in fucking hell. Don't know how to suffer? I was starved, burned alive, and raped, and I have scars all over my body, Naruto said. Not only Kakashi and Suki here have also had their fair share of trauma. Don't you dare talk about how your life is, Naruto said. If you want to know how I survived, leave it. And Naruto lost his appetite and left the dinner table. It was shocking, yet Kakashi still understood, and Suki and Sakura felt bad for Naruto. Not that it would stop them from physically fucking him, though. If you want, Naruto-kun, she said as she kissed his hand, and he blushed a storm and almost fainted. Let's go. Naruto stuttered as he went towards the bathroom. All of Team 7 had known about Suki's genjutsu, and they didn't care about it and supported it. Though Suki did say she wouldn't reveal her genjutsu unless at the Chunin exams. They had also gotten close to each other. They became friends and best friends, though they wouldn't admit it. They both liked each other. Naruto didn't consider the kissing a thing that best friends would do, though. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun. It's just that I might die from the fight today we will have, she thought, not knowing another girl was thinking the same. With Haku. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun. We will have to fight from the opposite sides, she thought as she put on her clothes and her mask. Back to the team. All right, team. Today is the day we will fight against Zabuza and that fake hunter Nin, Kakashi said, and Tazuna opened the door. Follow me, Tazuna said as he and team went towards the bridge. To the bridge, add a note. I having exams and gotta revise for them, so can't do anything right now and I'm rushing this. Tazuna, how long will it take for you to complete this bridge? Kakashi asked, and Tazuna said, 4 hours. And Naruto said, well, what about if I use my clones? And Tazuna said, probably in 2 hours. Heh, shadow clone jutsu, he said as 10 shadow clones appeared. Well then get started, Naruto said as Tazuna and the clones nodded and began working. 1 hour later. Be ready guys, Naruto said and they all were focused. Well, if it isn't they copycat and his brats, Zabuza said as Haku was beside him. Haku, take care of those two, I take the copycat, he said and Haku nodded and dashed at them. Haku versus Sukineru. Well then, should we end this fast Suki? He asked, making Suki get out of her frozen state and nodded. But, not happening, Haku said as she did one-handed seals and said. Secret style, ice mirrors jutsu, she said as 20 mirrors appeared, and Haku was standing in all of them. You're now trapped, no one can get this out alive, she said as Suki said, fire style, fireball jutsu, and the fireball did absolutely nothing. These mirrors are impossible to destroy, she said as she sends a barrage of Senbon and Naruto immediately dashes towards Suki and stops all of them from hitting her, and said, wind style wins fury, he said as the wind started to move violently towards Haku. Haku had difficulty dodging that attack and sent a barrage of Senbon towards Naruto in all directions, and Naruto couldn't dodge all of them, and Suki rushed towards Naruto and saved him from the barrage of Senbon. Why? Naruto asked. Because, I love you Narukuin, she said as she went unconscious. Is this your first time seeing a comrade dying in battle? She asked, and Naruto didn't even look at her in the eye. Why did you do this, Haku-chan? He asked in absolute fury. What he knows, she thought and said, I'm sorry Naruto-kun. This might be the last battle, that's why, she said before a huge amount of ki shook her to her core, and she saw Naruto with chakra chains and his Sharingan glowing wildly. Naruto immediately stabbed Haku at the liver with his sword on his chakra chain and Haku went unconscious. If you dare do that again, Haku-chan, I will fucking kill you, he said with no remorse. Naruto went towards Suki and started using his healing jutsu, and it took 5 minutes but he heard her breathing again and smiled while tears were flowing down his face. Suki heard the crying and said, It isn't good that your handsome face is teary Narukuin, she said and opened her eyes, revealing 2 tomo in both eyes. Naruto smiled a tired smile. Well then, should we help Kakashi-sensei? He asked as he got up and helped Suki and all 3 nodded. With Kakashi and Zabuza. Never expected that brat to have the Sharingan and the chakra chains of the Uzumaki, Zabuza said and Kakashi dodged Zabuza blade and said, Well, he is my student after all, and Zabuza smirked. Well then, Hatake, should we end this battle? He asked and Kakashi nodded and said, You are one of the only people to see it with your own eyes, so feast upon this jutsu, Kakashi said as he did hand seals and charged up lightning chakra in his hand and said, Chidori, and Zabuza said, Sudayan. Suryuden Daibaka no jutsu, he said as both Dragon and Chidori exploded on impact and Zabuza and Kakashi looked injured but Zabuza was more than Kakashi. Well then Kakashi, I had a good battle with you, Zabuza said, but then Team 7 came and all of them heard clapping. Well then, looks like the Demon of the Mist is more like Baby of the Mist. I should have kept that girl as one of my whores, Gato said as he looked over to Haku who was unconscious. Zabuza was radiating Ki towards Gato and Gato smirked and said, I could have hired my thugs to beat you, and Zabuza and Kakashi snorted and Zabuza said, I don't have any energy to kill all these pathetic fools, so you blonde-haired brat, take care of them and my little snow princess, Zabuza said as he died and was implementing Haku as his snow princess. Naruto, are you sure you want to do this? Suki asked and Naruto said, Not really my raven-haired Haim, but I have to honor our fellow shinobi right, he said and Suki blushed and thought, I fucking won Hinata. Naruto dashed towards them with his Chikudo and started killing all of them, and his blue eyes somehow looked like it was glowing from all of the bloodshed. Naruto stood back and all the 20 thugs and Gato looked back in fear. This is my first ever jutsu. You should be proud to see it, he said as he said, Shadow Clone Jutsu. And 2 clones appeared. Naruto started applying wind chakra into an atom while the other clone stabilized it, and he added a Rasengan which made a violent sound of high-pitched coming from the wind chakra. The other clone was stabilizing it. He said, "Wind-style Rasen Star," and slammed it to them, and the pressure was so intense that they practically shred into pieces, and Naruto started breathing and said, "That's what you deserve, you fucking rapist." And he drifted off to unconsciousness, and Suki came rushing towards him, and Sakura started on healing jutsu. Chapter 8. The Sand Genins and the Chunin exams. Team 7 had recently just finished their C to a rank mission. While Naruto was just talking about his own bridge, he was very happy after he got a bridge named after him, though he was carrying Haku with him at the same time. "Suki-chan, why are you so sad?" Naruto asked, looking at Suki, who was just looking at the ground. After all, wasn't his duty to look after Suki? "Damn it, I was so pathetic. How am I ever going to beat him?" She spoke in her mind. "Suki-chan? Suki-chan." Naruto kept calling her name, and he finally shook her, which immediately made her come out of her thoughts. "Sorry, Naruto-kun," Suki said. "Anyways, come on. I want to go and eat some ramen," Naruto says, drooling. Suki, you better put your genjutsu, you know?" Kakashi said, and she nodded and put up her genjutsu. "Araden. I'm not going to put Sasuke every time, so I'm going to only put Sasuke." "Wait. Suki, does Hokage-sama know about you being a girl thing?" he asked, and Suki nodded. "Since my mother was in, if I'm correct, in Ruko Uchiha's team with her best friend, who I think was Kushina Uzumaki, they both were like daughters to Hokage-sama, so when he heard my mother was pregnant with me, he was delighted. Even now he gives me money even though I have a lot of money," Sasuke said. "That's understandable," Kakashi said. They were reaching the gates of the Leaf Village, and Naruto said, "It has only been like 3 weeks, but it feels like forever," Naruto said. "Yeah, doesn't it?" Suki said, and she immediately remembered something. "Naruto, while you were fighting against Haku, I saw that you had chains coming out of your body?" Suki asked, and Kakashi was raising his eyebrow, since the chakra chains are a very rare occurrence in the Uzumaki after all. Naruto didn't know how to explain to everyone, since he didn't want to reveal his bloodlines after all. Naruto sighed and then looked at them. "I do not want anybody to say this information to anyone, even Hokage-sama," Naruto said strictly, and everyone nodded. "Well then, long ago, the Uzumaki were only known for their sealing techniques and huge chakra reserves. That's why you rarely see me out of chakra," Naruto said, looking if everyone was listening. "You see, they also have a Kekii Genkai called the Senpu no Kusari, which, as the name suggests, chains which moves at insane speeds. They have the will of the user, and can even make jutsus, well, only jutsus which the user has mastered with no hand seals," Naruto said, which shocked everyone, especially Suki. "How the hell is he this powerful? I need that power to beat him," Suki thought in jealousy. At the Hokage Tower. Kakashi, why did it take so long?" Hiruzen asked. "Well, we fought against Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the mist, and Haku Yuki, of the Ice Clan," Kakashi replied like he didn't have a care in the world. "Okay. Wait, what?" Hiruzen said very calmly with a very calm voice. Kakashi sighed and said, "As I said, Hokage-sama, me and my team defeated A-rank nearing S-rank Shinobi Momochi Zabuza, the demon of the mist, and Brang Haku Yuki, of the Ice Clan in the mist." And Hiruzen sighed. "I shall give you all the bounty and give you all 1 week of no missions, and this mission is classified as A-rank. So any word out of here is deaf. Got it?" Hiruzen said with a stern voice, and they nodded. "Kakashi, keep Haku Yuki of the Ice Clan in the hospital until she's conscious, all right?" Hiruzen said, and Kakashi nodded. Outside. "Well, I recommend you all to prepare for the Chunin exams, as they will happen 2 weeks from now if I'm correct, and you have a lot of free time to prepare," Kakashi said, and body flickered away. "Well then, Sakura, I will give you one of my own medical ninjutsu books that I made. It will help you on analysis on a person, how healthy he is, and where are his injuries, and more on how to control it effectively." Naruto said, and Sakura nodded. Suki-chan, I don't know what you will be doing. You will be probably training in fire-style jutsus. Other than that, maybe the Sharingan? You do have the Uchiha library, so that sorts it out. Naruto said. Yes, I do have the library. Naruto. She said coldly, and Naruto tilted his head in confusion why she was angry. Suki-chan, why are Yodesh? Naruto couldn't even finish speaking before Suki went, and Sakura said, I think she might become her male counterpart. And Naruto sighed and agreed with this. Yup. Though hopefully she reduces her anger, Naruto said, as he did have a plan that he wanted to start tonight. Well then, Naruto-kun, see you later. Sakura said, not realizing that she added the suffix kun in Naruto's name. Bye, Sakura-chan, Naruto said, and they both left. At the evening, Naruto was finishing his training and sat down nearby a tree. Well, I think it's time to start it, Naruto said, and stood up and wore a raven mask and body flickered, making his Sharingan glow in the night. Uchiha compound. Plan Uchiha started. Naruto body flickered to the Uchiha library, which was a huge area, and he went inside. Then he saw all of the huge scrolls stacked top upon the other and spawned a shadow clone and started to levitate, and took the scroll above and opened it, which was a summoning which said Karasu, Raven in Japanese if I'm correct. It had Madara Uchiha written in it. Naruto thought for a second and shook it out of his head. Naruto bit his finger and wrote his name quickly before it healed and did the hand seals for the summoning jutsu. Kuchios no jutsu, Naruto said as a raven came and looked at him. Are you a pure-blooded Uchiha? He asked, and Naruto nodded. My name is Naruto Uchiha, the grandson of Uchiha Madara, Naruto said, and the raven looked at him sternly and nodded. I can sense Madara's chakra inside you a little. It makes sense, I suppose, the raven said. You are our first summoner since your grandfather died. Fight with honor. I can sense you are a very pure soul with your chakra, the raven said, and Naruto nodded, and he asked, What's your name? And the raven responded, My name is Shikido. I'm one of the elders of the Raven Summoning Clan. I was the main summon for your grandfather. That why I was summoned, as his chakra will always summon me, Shikido said, and Naruto was surprised and nodded. So you will be also my main summon? He asked, and he shook his head. You will be probably associated with my grandson Nico. Now I will explain you about everything the Raven clan can do. We usually using chakra when we are summoned, and we use something called dark style. I recommend we end it here as I sense someone coming near us, the raven said, and Naruto nodded as he felt a chakra signature coming near them. Shikido poofed out, and Naruto turned around, seeing Suki, who rushed at him, making him pinned to the wall. Who are you? Sasuke asked. Suki uses her genjutsu BTW. Remove my mask and you will find out, Suki-chan, Naruto said as she ripped the mask out and saw it was Naruto who used his Sharingan at the same time. Why are you here? Suki asked as she removed her grip but still pinned him against the wall. I came here to study all the jutsus here, of course, Naruto said. Well, you're not invited here, Suki said, which made Naruto confused why she was angry today. Why are you angry today? You were very happy until after wave, Naruto asked. How the world do you have all the power you need, huh? Suki screamed at him, and Naruto looked at her in the eyes. Because I want to protect the people I love, Naruto said with a blush engrossing his cheeks with his Sharingan turning off. Suki looked at him in the eyes as she turned off her Sharingan too. I have an older brother named Uchiha Itachi. He was known as the prodigy of the clan, but suddenly in one night, he killed everyone in our clan and became a missing nin, Suki said, and Naruto looked at her with a deadpan. You know, you could have researched why he killed the clan but left you, right? Like he loved you very much, idiot. Naruto punches her head lightly. You are so stupid, Suki. In all honesty, you probably couldn't kill you because of you were his adorable little sister, Naruto said, and Suki realized it could have been true. Fine, Suki said and turned around. Where are you going, miss? Naruto asked with a deadly aura around him that would have made most women shiver. To my home? She said, not realizing what she had done. You been angry at me for the whole day and now just leave? Naruto said, and Suki just said, I'm sorry for that. I was angry, you know? But Naruto didn't take it softly and beat her up, and after he finished he said, if you dare ignore me again, it will be 2x harder. Naruto said, and Suki nodded fast and said, yes, sir. And Naruto body flickered back to his home. Chapter 9. Let the Chunin exams begin. And a scary forest. It was a normal day in the Hidden Leaf Village. The birds were chirping, the villagers were talking. Everything was normal. Now let's check up on a blondie we all know and love, shall we? Naruto's house. Naruto groaned. Today was a special day. He has been training for this for 2 weeks. He wanted to make his parents proud. His life was changing, he knew it. Everyone knew it. Okay. Sealing kits. Check. Shurikens. Check. Iron wire. Check. Tetrodotoxin. Check. Fluoroantimonic acid. Check. And some mini bombs of botulinum toxins. Check. Naruto kept checking if he was ready, and after he was done he went under his bed and opened a chest, which had his dad's letter and a picture of both his mother and father, with his mother being pregnant. Naruto smiled. He knew he had to make them proud. He learned some fire-style jutsus and earth-style jutsus. He was okay on lightning, so all he needed to do is win. Good thing I found those chemicals. They were hard to find. I would rather die than trying to take the toxins of a pufferfish and a blue-ringed octopus. Well, not like I wasn't almost about to die anyways, as he unfurls his hand to see his bite marks from the octopus. Naruto opens the door and throws a kunai and substitutes with it, and spots the academy and throws another kunai before landing on the ground and substitutes with it, leaving a yellow blur. A mini flashback. Hey Konohamaru. You do know that I can see through you guys' defense, right? Haha. Still as clever yet, boss. You are worthy to be my rival, Konohamaru says as his friends appear out of the smoke. I think you put too much glitter, Moegi. Udon, a member of the Konohamaru Corps, replied. Ha! There's nothing as too much glitter. You can't handle it. Moegi, the only female in the Konohamaru Corps, replied. Well, anyways, boss, can you play ninja with us, please? The Konohamaru Corps replied, bringing the Z-rank, puppy eyes jutsu, and combined with 3 people it was overkill for Naruto. Playing ninja when you're a ninja? Seriously, Naruto-kun, Sakura said, and Naruto chuckled. Well, they are my students, if you want to call them that, Sakura-chan. And the Konohamaru Corps giggled with a smile on their face. Hey boss, is she your? Konohamaru wiggled his ring finger and Naruto blushed a little but said, no, Konohamaru, she is not my girlfriend. Sakura became a little sad but smiled. Well, no wonder. She's ugly, has big forehead, and has pink hair. And Naruto looked at Konohamaru, saying him to run indirectly, and Konohamaru looked at Sakura and saw a murderous aura, combined with her medical ninjutsu and her physical skills. There was nothing that was going to stop her. I'm going to dissect you, Konohamaru. And with that, the Konohamaru Corps ran and ran until Konohamaru bumped into someone. Sorry. And a man who was looking like he was wearing a black cat suit with some war paint was looking at him. Kid, you better explain why you came and bumped or else, he said before using a puppet behind him. Kankuro, we are here to compete in the Chunin exams, not for scaring little kids. A girl who had a hair looking like a desert flower said to the person named Kankuro. You better listen to your teammate. I wouldn't touch him if I was you, Naruto said, body flickering. And? What are you going to do? Well, I'm not going to do nothing, but his grandfather, who is also the 3rd Hokage, will be pretty angry, and that might cut the relations to your village. And Kankuro realized and dropped him immediately. Also, say the person from the tree to come down. He doesn't need to act all mysterious and stuff. And suddenly a person came down who had red hair and a scarf which covered him and his sand gourd behind him. What's your name? Mother wants your blood. It's common courtesy to tell your name first. The name's Gaara. Now tell me your name. Naruto Uzumaki. Q. Ichi. Suddenly Sasuke appeared. What's going on? And Naruto said, nothing really, just a problem. Damn. I wish to be in this village, hot bosh. The sand girl shook her head and Gaara said, come on. And Kankuro stopped trying to embarrass us even further. Well, wasn't that unexpected? Sakura said and Naruto said, agreed. Well, I'm going back. Naruto, you better come today for training. And thanks for keeping this with us, Sakura. Sakura chuckled and said, it's all right anyways. Konohamaru stood up dizzy and again went unconscious and was about to hit his head until Naruto body flickered and catched him. Well, I have a student to take care of, Suki-chan. See you later. And Naruto body flickered to the Hokage tower and Naruto threw his kunai and substituted inside the room and kept it there and looked at Hiruzen. Should I get out? Yes, you should. Flashback end. Still need to perfect it though. Hey Naruto-kun. Naruto looks back and sees Sakura running and waves at her. Hey Sakura-chan. Sakura stops and breathes and says, well, are you prepared to kick some butt? Yeah, and you look actually good. Unlike before what that abomination was. Haha, very funny. Sakura was wearing a hoodie which was in a dark pinkish color. It had a fur which was like Hinata's. You could see she had some training weights on her. By the way, what level on your medical ninjutsu training? Yes, Naruto had classified medical ninjutsu into easier ranks like Academy level, Genin level, Chunin level, Tokubetsu Jonin level, Kage level, and finally Sannin level. I'm around Tokubetsu level Y? And Naruto became impressed. He wasn't a prodigy, but he did reach Kage level, though still he didn't reach Tokubetsu in 2 frickin' weeks. Wow, I'm Kage level and that's saying something. You are an actual prodigy, Sakura. Just wait a bit longer. You will probably finish all the volumes I gave you for Tokubetsu. And Sakura groaned. Naruto gave 10 volumes for each level except Kage and Sannin had 25 volumes. Great. I'm waiting after I finish the 6th volume of it. And Naruto laughed. At this part there we some explanatory chemicals, if he would say so himself, for seduction of course, like androstenedione and estradiol. Of course Naruto wasn't gonna spoil it even though they were weak. Still could be used. Well, good luck. It has some explanatory chemicals. Whatever and looks like emoistical version of Suki has entered the academy. Naruto broke down laughing and tried to stop laughing. What happened to him? Emoistical version of Suki, or Sasuke said. Remember that the Sasuke persona is different from Suki's persona. He's laughing because of a nickname that I made for ya. What is it? In a demanding voice, and Naruto stopped his laughter and responded with a smirk towards Sakura. Emoistical version of Suki. And before Suki could have hit Sakura for that, Naruto went towards Sasuke and put his chikudo on his sternum. Sasuke, we need to focus. Even if we are the best team, we need to be on top tier condition, right? He looked with his ice eyes directly looking into a void which was Sasuke's eyes. HN. Why the absolute foo dash? At the correct floor. Skipping that yapping session and fight thing between Lee and Sasuke. Because I'm not wanting to try and do that shit and my hands already hurt. Hey, what's happening here? Naruto asked to a genin. I don't know man, these chunins aren't allowing us in. Everyone. It's a dangerous place, you can potentially die. Naruto threw the kunai towards them and it was a smoke bomb which exploded on impact and told everyone to go inside the room. Nice job, Whiskers. The emoistical version of Suki said, I might replace Sasuke with this. Nice job, Fu dash, before Sakura closed his mouth. This is a family friend dash. The author literally swears. He literally said in the reviews that he wanted you guys to rape me. It's rated M for a reason. Stop breaking the fourth wall, Naruto. Sorry, my bad. Are we not going to question that, Sakura? Nope. Yo, dead last. How are you doing? Not trying to be bad for your team, right? Kiba said, and Naruto rolled his eyes. Yeah, Kiba. Ironic your clan is associated with dogs, but all bark and no bite, eh? Still the pervert you were. You fell in love with my sexy jutsu. And you probably tried to take Hinata on a date, didn't you? Kiba had the decency to be embraced, and that in front of Hinata, who heard the conversation and nodded her head and had a red flush on her face that Naruto mentioned her name. Well, I didn't expect you to be like this, Naruto, Shikamaru said as he came. Kiba, trying to change the topic, just said, well, looks like the whole gang is back, eh? Well, yeah. Considering Choji is coming and Ino was just talking about Sasuke all the way. Sasuke, Ed, and Sakura smirked when they are going to the finals, because Ino is about to get a surprise. Too bad she won't see it in the preliminaries. Oh my god, Sasuke-kun. Ino screeched as she came and tried to hug him while he avoided gracefully, making her fall onto the ground. Well, can you all quiet down? Many people are looking at you. A white-haired man with glasses and a headband that had a music note carved into it. They looked back to see a lot of Genins, and Genins who had already came to the Chunin exams glaring at them, and Naruto smirked. Naruto leaked a little of his K.I, which made them shiver. Then he leaked even more, which made them fear. Then they looked at him. To see pure ice-cold eyes. Looking towards them with Naruto leaking the fox's chakra unconsciously, it made them see the nine-tailed fox behind him pissing in fear. Naruto turned back to his team and said, all done, and smiled gleefully like he had not made Genins piss in fear. Why the hell does my mind think of an edit with comparing Naruto, who made mere Genins piss in fear, while Madara, who made literal shinobis piss in fear? Is this Naruto? Everyone in Konoha 12 expects Sasuke and Sakura thought. Well, wow. I must say that was indeed spectacular, the glasses guy said. And who are you? Naruto asked. Well, I'm Kabuto Yakushi, a genin of Otogekure, and I have failed the Chunin exams 7 times. Wow, either you're really bad or the exams are really hard. The other one, the exams are really hard, and this is my first time coming to a Chunin exams hosted in the Leaf Village, and if you want I can give you advice on how to defeat all of these people. How? Buy these cards. Kabuto showed some cards which were orangish black, and immediately Kiba said, give me information about Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha. And Naruto shrugged. Then give me information about Gaara of the Sand. And Kabuto smirked. Alright then, I guess you already know the names, which makes it less fun, but Naruto Uzumaki, 60 D ranks, impressive for even surviving the process of those no C ranks, 1 B rank and 1 A rank. His abilities. Can use the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Is the last member of the Uzumaki clan of Yuzushogakur and is part of Team 7. And everyone looked at Naruto, and Sasuke and Sakura were thinking what was the B rank mission. Well, anyways, Sasuke Uchiha. 60 D ranks? No C ranks? No B rank? Then he must have done that B rank mission on his own. 1 A rank, can use fire-style jutsus. The last member of the Uchiha clan and holds the Sharingan with 3 tomos and is part of Team 7. And Sasuke Ed and Naruto deadpanned. Why do you do this very time? And Sasuke just Ed again, and Naruto sweat dropped. At this point it's a frickin' language. And the Konoha 12 except Sasuke agreed with him. Well then, Gaara of the Sand, no D ranks? 30 C ranks, 10 B ranks, 2 A ranks. I suggest you all be wary of him. He's the Jinchuriki of the one-tailed raccoon. Also, for the point, I know they didn't reveal his Jinchuriki status until that time when Naruto fought against Neji, if I'm correct, but who TF cares, and everyone was cautious about this. If a genin has no D ranks, imagine his power. Alright brats, sit down. A man that looked like he had 50 years of experience came and said, my name is Ibiki Marino, and I'm your proctor for the first round. First warning, if you cheat you will not be able to attend the Chunin exams for the next and the Chunin exams after that. Ibiki said, which every genin started to sweat. Well then, let the first round start. After being given out the papers. This is no ordinary exam sheet. This is a Jonin level paper. Naruto thought and looked over to Shikamaru and saw him also wide-eyed, and both of them looked towards each other and nodded. This wasn't an ordinary exam. You will have to cheat without being caught. What was that? I don't know what was that, but it's better to listen to it, it has a point. And Naruto started using his Sharingan to copy Shikamaru, at the end after finishing the test. Sasuke used his Sharingan to copy Sakura, Sakura used her mind, Hinata also used her mind, Tenten used a giant mirror, and Lee copied the answers using his forehead protector. Shino used his bugs, Shikamaru did it and slept. Choji was getting answers from Ino and Ino was copying Sakura. May I go to the restroom? A San Genin asked one of the San siblings Kankuro. You may go with one of the supervisors, Ibiki said, and Kankuro went to the restroom with the guard. A few moments later. Well, how was the puppet working? Ibiki asked with a smirk towards Kankuro, who gulped and Ibiki sighed and pointed him to go towards his seat and slammed on a desk and said, Pencils down. It's time for the 10th question. Now before I ask, I'm going to tell this once. If you do not answer this question correctly, you will be permanently out of the Chunin exams. Ibiki says and Kiba says, That's not fair. There's many people who have failed these exams. Well, I don't care. Right now I'm Kami and you must obey me. A few people left, but before more people could go out. I don't care whatever happens. I'm going to become Hokage. And even if I'm a genin, Naruto shouted and Ibiki smirked. Well then, you all passed, you got my stance of superiority destroyed, so you pass. Suddenly the blinds closed and a scroll rolled and it said, The sexy and single Snake Mistress of Konoha. Chunin Exams Proctor of Round 2. Anko Mitarashi. Well, hello brats and ladies. It's the sexy and single Anko Mitarashi. Anko Mitarashi, the Snake Mistress of Konoha, who was the Chunin Exams Proctor for Round 2. She was wearing a trench coat which covered absolutely nothing of her breasts, D-cup by the way, but was kinda covered with her fishnet armor, and she wore a short orange skirt. Almost every male in the class was fawning except Shino, Shikamaru, and Naruto. Sasuke doesn't count since he isn't a man, lol. And the females were blushing, especially Hinata and Sakura Suki also cough. Well then, follow me to the training ground 44, the Forest of Death. And she body flickered away. Well then, all of you hold on to me, Naruto said to the Konoha 11 excluding Naruto, and Sakura held his hand, Sasuke held on to his shoulder, and Hinata came behind his neck, and everyone held on to his shoulder. Well, Hinata is at least more bolder, he thought, and body flickers to the Forest of Death. Training Ground 44. Huh? You came? Anko startled as she was eating her dangos and shrugged. Well, just wait for everyone to come. And they nodded and just sat talking about their teams and stuff, not giving a proper description but what to put here. After a few minutes later, welcome brats to Training Ground 44, or also known as the Forest of Death, Anko said, and everyone shivered, especially Kiba. Ah, my home, far away from my home, Anko said, but saw that Sasuke was not listening. Anko tried to throw a kunai at Sasuke's cheek, which was deflected by Naruto, and another genin threw a kunai at her. Who was that? Anko asked. Sorry ma'am. It was me, I just couldn't stand against blood as it makes me shiver in excitement, the Kusa genin said, and Anko smirked. A lot of blood-thirsty people this year, eh? Anko said. Anyways, all of you have to sign this contract, Anko said as she gave a contract to everyone. Why do we have to sign this, miss? A genin asked. Because, so we are not responsible if you die, she said in a cheery voice which made the genin's sweat drop. Alright, you all will be given either a Earth or Heaven scroll. If you get Heaven, you have to hunt for people who have an Earth scroll, and the same rule applies to the Earth scroll people, Anko said as everyone got their scroll. Well, we are Earth, so we have to hunt for Heaven then, Naruto says, and Sasuke and Sakura nodded. This will be our first test for us, won't it, Naruto-kun? Sakura asked, and Naruto smirked. Yeah, won't it, Suki-chan? Naruto said, since almost everyone were at their gates. Sasuke smirked and said, Yeah, it will, Naruto-kun. Anko said over the microphone and said, Let the round 2 of the Chunin exams begin. Team 7 rushed and Naruto said, Alright, if we ever find a team, Sakura, use your trap-making skills while me and Suki fight, alright? Sakura pouted but nodded regardless. Naruto used his sensory ability and sensed over 1 kilometer and went ahead and said, There's a team northeast 953 meters from us. And Sakura said, You know you don't need to give calculations, you know? And Naruto smiled and said, "Just get on with it." Naruto threw his kunais and substituted with them spotted the team. Well, looks like we have some fresh meat that we can kill," said one of the Mist Ninja, and Naruto immediately didn't waste any time and went ahead and threw his kunai and substituted behind the genin and then chopped his neck with his hand and used his Sharingan and put the other genin in a genjutsu and used his chikudo and stabbed the other genin, but not killing him. Suki and Sakura were coming ahead and saw the mess and saw Naruto with his chikudo stabbing a genin. "Naruto?" Suki asked while Naruto had slight tears but wiped it from his face. "Nothing. Take the scroll and let's go," Naruto said, and Suki nodded and took the scroll from the leader that Naruto had stabbed. "Did you kill him or did you not kill him?" Sakura asked, and Naruto said, "No, I didn't kill any of them, just chopped one genin's neck with my hand and put one of them in a genjutsu and the other one, well, you see it right," Naruto said, and Sakura nodded, and they again jumped through trees again and again. Suddenly the air felt cold. "What is this?" each of them thought. By the way, Suki still has her genjutsu on. Suddenly a woman came out of the ground, and it was the Kusa genin, and she was emanating a lot of K.I, and Naruto managed to cancel it by sending a flare of chakra. "Kukuku." Well then. The lady summoned a snake, and then Naruto said, "Fire style. Great fire inferno," and burned the large snake with it and smirked. "Kukuku. Well, Naruto-kun, you have exceeded my expectations. But move. I'm here for Sasuke-kun." And Sakura and Suki stood, and Suki used her Sharingan blazing with 3 tomos. "Well then, Naruto-kun, I expect you already know who I am, don't you?" And Naruto sensed his chakra levels and realized who this guy was. "TDS Snake S Sanin Orochimaru." Naruto stuttered, and they all realized they were fighting against a Sannin. "Well then, let's see how all of you do then." Orochimaru summoned more snakes and slithered around with the infamous Kusanagi. Lightning style. Spider web. And the ground was a lightning ground, and all the snakes dispelled, and Naruto was punched in the gut by Orochimaru and was pushed towards Suki and Sakura, who held him, and Sakura immediately started healing him. "Hee. Aren't you guys a good team? Well, such a shame that." Naruto felt something coming back and was thinking what he could do at this moment. He needed to save his team. And suddenly, chakra chains. That was it. A golden blue chakra chain popped out of Naruto and went ahead and stabbed the snake. "Chakra chains of the Uzumaki, Orochimaru said. Naruto stood up and said, "That's not all, I have a few more, you know?" And threw a kunai and substituted with it and landed a solid punch, and Orochimaru had his fingers in chakra, and Naruto realized he needed to duck quickly, so he used his Sharingan of a millisecond and dodged the attack. "Well, I'm shocked to see you done this well, but you are dead now," Orochimaru said with his Kusanagi coming near him, and Naruto was cornered until. "Wait, what? Why are my hands moving on their own?" Naruto thought, and they finished in a Hebe seal, and wooden dragons came and stopped Orochimaru and cornered him to a tree. "Mokuton?" were the reactions of everyone around Naruto, and Naruto looked at Orochimaru with a smirk. "Well, looks like I finally unlocked it." Chapter 10th. A Shadow of Death. Currently we see both Orochimaru and Naruto standing on the opposite sides of each other, with Naruto smirking. "You shouldn't let your guard down, brat." While a snake was summoned which was coming beneath Naruto, who applied chakra on his legs. "I haven't perfected this technique yet, but..." Naruto held out his hand while dodging attacks from Orochimaru, and suddenly everyone felt the power change. Naruto's chakra in his hand was a Rasengan being compressed to an atom, and Naruto started adding wind chakra. In less than 3 seconds, wind style, Rasen star. Naruto went ahead and smashed it into Orochimaru, temporarily disabling his chakra points. Naruto then quickly made work of trapping Orochimaru with style for sides of a dome, and 4 would erected above and trapped Orochimaru. Naruto indicated Sakura and Sasuke to come, and they all went ahead to the tower. "Naruto-kun, is that your mother's bloodline?" And Naruto nodded. "We have to hurry, I suppose it will last only for a couple of minutes as it's a fricking Sannin. We have better chances against a Kage rather than one of the Sannins." Sakura nodded and said, "I have a jutsu that can give you insane amount of energy for 10 seconds, and with 3 of us. We only have 3.333333333333 seconds exactly. Naruto nodded and said, "Do it, Sakura, we can't fight anymore and I only have 50% of my chakra after using Rasen Star. Just hold on to me, both of you. I can substitute my kunais, though you all will need to hold kunais too. In case if my kunais ran out, you will have to give it fast, and by my estimation, the tower is 2 kilometers away, so we would need to launch 10 kunais per second." Suki finished and Naruto nodded. This wasn't an easy task. They would need to give him kunais in 200 milliseconds. Yang release life force. Sakura started to distribute her chakra towards Naruto and Suki, who both felt insane amount of energy inside their bodies. Naruto immediately started to throw kunais which looked like a yellow, black and pink blur flashing through the forest.